The Battle of First Bar was fought between British and Chinese forces at First Bar Island and its surrounding area in the Canton River, China, on the 27th of February 1841 during the First Opium War. Background: on the 21st of February 1841, former Imperial Commissioner Lin Zizhu wrote that 1,000 regular troops from Hunan and the same number from Yunnan arrived in batches at Canton. Lin met General Xiang Fu of the Hunan troops in the afternoon and then General Yung Fu the next day. On the 24th of February, Lin, Imperial Commissioner Kishan, and other officials inspected the defenses of the Canton River, and spent the night at Lierte, 7 miles east of Canton. The inspection continued the next day and ended early on the 26th of February at Ta Huang Chiao, 8 miles south of Canton. Battle. On the morning of the 27th of February, the Calliope, Herald, Alligator, Sulphur, Modeste, and the steamers Madagascar and Nemesis sailed past the Boca Tigris along the Canton River. Lieutenant John Elliott Bingham of the Modeste wrote, as these ships sped along, the shore was lined with thousands of the inhabitants gazing on the bold barbarians, many of them, no doubt, secretly wishing him success. Commodore James Bremer placed Captain Thomas Herbert of the Calliope in command of the British fleet. After sailing past Tiger Island and Second Bar, they reached near First Bar Island by noon. There, the British spotted the Cambridge, a former East Indiaman, hoisting the red flag of a Chinese admiral. The long Chinese field fortifications facing the river mounted 47 guns, and rows of white tents in the neighboring paddy fields indicated a large number of Tartar troops. Over 40 war junks were further up the river. As the steamers advanced, the Chinese batteries opened fire, which was vigorously returned with shells and rockets. The Modeste sailed within 300 yards of the shore and fired broadsides before the other ships joined the cannonade. The Chinese forces made a determined resistance, but could not withstand the broadsides. The shells and rockets from the Madagascar and Nemesis had a destructive effect, setting fire to much of the camp. The Cambridge opened fire, but was soon overwhelmed by artillery from the British ships. Her crew jumped overboard to make way for the shore. Although the junks made a large amount of noise, they kept out of range from the British fleet. After an hour, the Chinese batteries were nearly silenced, and the British forces landed. Herbert reported, "I landed with the seamen and marines, and stormed the works, driving before us upwards of 2,000 of their best troops, and killing nearly 300, Bingham wrote. As the enemy fled before Lieutenant Stransom's party, they attempted to cross a deep branch of the river, in which numbers of them perished, and many were shot. The British captured the forts about half an hour after landing. During the land operations, Lieutenant Watson of the Calliope and other officers boarded the Cambridge, and soon captured it after a resistance from the few Chinese crew that remained. The ship was found mounting 34 guns. Orders were sent to the officer to set it on fire. Shortly after dark, the fire exploded its magazine, hurling the masts and beams in the air. Herbert wrote that the explosion was so loud that it must have been heard at Canton. A total of 98 Chinese guns were captured during the day. The British casualties were 1 seaman killed, 6 seamen wounded, and 2 marines wounded. The seaman who died on the Modeste had the hammer of his musket caught on the ship's thwart, and when the piece discharged, the ball shot through his head. Aftermath. On the 28th of February, Lin wrote, "I hear that yesterday the English rebels broke resistance at Wuyong. The regulars from Hunan were stationed there, and had heavy losses, their commander Xiang Fu being also among the killed." Lin said that 100 trained militiamen came afterwards from Xiang Fu's camp, but did not reach Wuyong in time for the attack, and that in the afternoon, Kishan, Deng Tingzhen, and Liang began a meeting.